getting back to Oklahoma City, you come in and tell me about what it's like to come to this place because you haven't lived here in a long time,
right?
And you've seen it sort of like in these stages, one picture at a time.
Yeah, And usually I come once a year, and I'm here in that weekend after Thanksgiving, and go out with my family. We try new restaurants and things like that all the time.
Except for Johnny's, you gotta still do Johnny's.
Yes, that is this crazy tradition that my mother picks us up at the airport, and we go straight to Johnny's. Okay, so we got to get that out of the way. It's the chili cheeseburger. I got to have my fix, and then I'm happy that I'm seated. I know where I am, and then I can go off and do all kinds of other things. Right. But it's fun to come back and see how this city has changed and how it is evolving. And there were some really cool things when I was growing up in terms of the food scene here. And we had this one restaurant called Jacques. It's been long gone, but it was our sort of chef-owned restaurant in town. And then we had the High Tower restaurant down the Cellar. And now and this is another story that maybe some of our viewers today will be interested in this story, but I was always interested in food because I grew up in a restaurant, but I liked it even wider than that. And when I was 11 or 12 years old, Julia Child came on. Back then it was educational TV. That's what we called it. She came on, and I fell in love with that because she opened doors for cuisine to me that I didn't even know were able to be open. And I got her little booklet that she had, or book that came out with the TV series. And man, I followed everything. I had this little Big Chief notebook or something like that. And I wrote down all the recipes, and I would go and make them and all that sort of thing. And it was so interesting to me how there was that sort of opening of cuisine to me through that channel there. Then being able to go to the Jacques restaurant that was a chef restaurant, and then to go to the High Tower. Well, nobody in my family had any interest in going to the Cellar at the High Tower restaurant. And I decided at 12 years old, I was going to go eat there. So I took the bus downtown, I called and found out how much it was going to cost. I saved my money. I went down there by myself on the bus, dressed all up, went to the Cellar. I'll never forget the experience of it because I can remember exactly what I ate. I had steak Diane, okay, it's real classic old stuff. Okay, steak Diane and chocolate mousse. Okay, I don't know what they thought of a 12-year-old in a suit walking in the door at lunchtime and saying, "I'd like a table for one, please." And I sat down and I ordered the thing, and they had these piped Duchesse potatoes around that were all gratinade. And then I got the chocolate mousse, and the chocolate mousse experience I will never forget because it came in a silver bowl, and you could have as much of it as you wanted. And I looked at it, and I think I didn't even breathe as the server went in and hoisted out big spoonfuls of it for me. They probably got a real charge out of it.
Oh my gosh. Well, I got to tell you, I got to thank you for telling that story because I'm positive that Chef John Bennett will be watching this on his computer and his head will explode.
Well, I actually met him a few years ago. I've met him several times, but the last time that I met him, I said, I have to tell you my story. And I thought it probably is down in the annals on the history of that restaurant. But he told me that he remembered all those things and the piping of the potatoes on there and the browning of it. And it's like I could remember every deal. It was my first experience in fine dining. And it was here in Oklahoma City. And then there was a period where there wasn't very much of that kind of thing here. But it seems interesting to me how this city in the last few years has just exploded with really good and interesting food. And I think that's because now there's local products that you can get. We've got farms around here. There's farmers markets. There's chefs that, the Food Network and the cooking shows on PBS and the cooking shows on other channels, all of that has educated the public so that now people want that. And we have a lot of young people who are coming up, going to culinary school, really getting good experience in other restaurants, and then bringing it back to places like Oklahoma City. And people ask me all the time, what do I see? Because you can go to New York or LA or San Francisco, whatever, and you can always find good restaurants in those kind of places. But up until the last 10 years, you couldn't say, I can go to Oklahoma City or Des Moines or Kansas City and get great cuisine. But now you can. Absolutely. In every city across the United States, you can find a great restaurant.
Yeah, it's really inspiring. And it's so true. I mean, when I first moved here, it was chain after chain, and now the independents have done a great job. They've really moved forward. And it's an exciting time to be here, and we're glad you're still here some of the time, if not all of the time. And everybody
and I look
always
forward
wants
to
know, when are you putting in the...
Oh, goodness gracious. Yes, I keep hearing that question coming up all the time.
You know, it's funny. I'm sure there was a time in your career when you heard that question and you thought, oh, how ridiculous. And it may still be ridiculous. However, the thought of the kind of restaurant that you would make would make sense here now when it wouldn't have at a different time.
You're right about that. There's a lot of sophistication here and a lot of great availability of ingredients. And, you know, there are people like Chef Kurt from the Coach House who has really led that charge to get great local products and champion them to everybody. And now there's so many other chefs that are supporting that, because what you need is critical mass. You got to have enough people that understand how important that is and are willing to invest in that.